Hey guys, I'm back at it again. 2 videos in a row of car vlogs, and today's topic is going to be on how contemplation can lead to your success. And I'm currently sitting in a parking lot. I just had a chocolate milkshake with Jenny's ice cream at one of my favorite coffee shops. So it was chocolate milkshake with coffee in it. It was really, really good. If you've never had Jenny's ice cream, it is amazing. This particular ice cream did have dairy in it. I am allergic. I'm not allergic, but I am lactose intolerant. So it kind of upset my stomach, but it was worth it to me. That being said, let's get into what I wanted to talk about today. Again, contemplation leading to success. I have spoke with actually quite a few people recently about this topic in different ways, like not necessarily phrasing it in that way, and I've also watched different videos because, as some of you guys may or may not know, which isn't always apparent now, but I'm trying to get back into it. I've been interested in personal development since I was about 12 or 13. That's when I first started studying it. And I truly believe that a lot of the things that I've achieved in my life were because I was into personal development at a young age. But somewhere along the way, I kind of lost sight of that. I think as we get older, as we mature, as we have more responsibilities, it's really easy to have more of a cynical view about life. And even though I do think of myself as a fairly optimistic person, sometimes along the way we can lose ourselves. And there's definitely been periods of time that I felt like I have lost myself. But over the last couple of months, especially going into the new year and just being really reflective and just kind of surrounding myself with different people, I've really started to kind of get back into it. And again, what's been really interesting is lately I've been talking to different people that have kind of said a similar message. And I've also watched videos recently that have the same message. So I feel like, maybe I should go ahead and share what I've been kind of ruminating on for the last couple of months. And that is the concept of, again, contemplation leading to success. Now, as an introvert, as someone that is fairly intuitive and does find themselves overthinking and analysis paralysis, getting into your head, that can also lead to a negative side of things. You never want to get to the point, and I've been here many times, and I would say that a lot of people have been as well, is getting to the point where you're over complicating things and just really kind of melting into those thought processes where you are just basically overthinking every single thing you do. And maybe not everybody can relate to this, but that's kind of what I do. And not every single thing, but any kind of big goal, big dream, I think to myself, all right, well, I don't know what to do, so I kind of stop there. Or maybe something happens and I get lost in my thoughts, and it's very easy to just overcomplicate things and just not take action. But on the other side of things, contemplation is extremely helpful, because you never want to go through life being on a treadmill and, so to speak, you don't want to just be going through the motions and just think that, okay, every day is a new day, and just kind of starting from there and not having a plan at all. Maybe some people thrive more on that kind of concept of just taking everything day by day. But I would say for most people, if not everyone, everyone has the capacity to do more for their life. Just the idea that we are even alive is a miracle in itself. I was actually talking to someone last night about this, and just going back through ancestry and going back through the generations, one wrong move and you could not be there. Or maybe your parents decided to do certain things maybe a couple minutes later or a few seconds later. You may not be here. Maybe someone else would be here. Or even in that realm, and I know that this is kind of veering off topic, but the whole process of like the egg being fertilized, that whole process is so, it's amazing that any of us are alive today. And I think it's so easy to take that for granted and to think that, oh well, like, why should I be here? Like, you know, my life is kind of useless. I don't really have any kind of impact. I want to shake you. I mean, I want to shake myself too, but you do have an impact. There is some reason that you are alive, and maybe you don't know exactly why that is. But if you are able to use your contemplation, your intentional thoughts, and again, you don't want to get sucked in, it's a fine line, but you don't want to get sucked into that overcomplicating things and like or just like overthinking things to the point that you don't take action. But if you use that contemplation in a more positive way to really visualize how you will be, again, I was talking to someone else about this, and I've also seen videos about this recently, is visualizing yourself in 10 years and really getting excited for that. Like I said, I've heard this long time ago, and again, it's easy to lose sight of that, especially when you're in the rat race of life and you know you've had hard things happen to you. Everybody has, and again, some people may be more privileged than others, and some people have a way easier time just by the way they were born. But ultimately, we all have such an immense power within ourselves. And if we're able to transform our minds to think in the way that, how are we going to be in 10 years, 20 years, 50 years? And it really is revolutionary in a lot of ways. I mean, I know it's not like that concept's not revolutionary, but for yourself, when you do that for yourself. And if you took a moment, and again, I've heard this from so many people, that's why I just feel like I need to share it in my own words. If you take a moment to like look back on yourself 10 years ago. So 10 years ago, I was 17. I was in high school. I didn't know what I was going to do with my life. I actually was like, so fun fact, I really like baking. I don't really do it very often. I guess it's because I don't feel like I have someone to bake for. I mean, apart from my mom, and she doesn't really like want to eat a lot of baked stuff anyways, which I understand, and I don't really have. Anyways, I used to, like, when I was in college, I used to do like bake sales and stuff, so I had more of an intention of why I should bake, and like because of the pandemic, I don't really see that many people, so again, it doesn't really make sense. But when I was 17, I thought there were two little things that I thought I was going to do. I thought I was going to own a cupcake store with my sister, my younger sister, and be like an artist. And I still want to pursue art, and I still have a passion for baking. But this 17-year-old girl was also, and it's hard to really represent this in a way that people would be able to understand, and I think maybe some people have this experience, but when I say that I was like one of the quietest people at my school. Like, I didn't talk to people. I went to a public school that had like 1,500 students, which isn't like a ton of students for a lot of schools, but it's like a decent amount. But anyways, like, I would be sitting next to someone in class and like barely talk to them the whole year, unless they were like a friend of mine that I somehow developed. But it was very rare that I would engage in like conversation other than like in class, where I would really just talk to the teacher, or I would talk to just very few people, and I usually didn't have friends in classes. So I was this very like quiet, shy, again introverted, but to the point that I just didn't really interact with people. I was also involved in, I did sports, and I was really involved with my church at the time and different things like that. But that girl used to shake and cry anytime she had to give a presentation, and she would have anxiety attacks every single day. And if you've never experienced a panic attack or an anxiety attack, it's like you really can't help yourself. Like, I would hyperventilate. And of course, because oftentimes I would try to do it if I felt like it was coming on, I would try to like excuse myself or do it in the bathroom or do it somewhere that nobody was seeing. But sometimes it would happen when I was in class, and that was really scary. And if I think of myself now at 27, 10 years later, I think I'm still that girl. And I guess at the time when I was 17, I still was like this, which I don't think it always comes across on camera. And I want to try to be a little bit like show this side of myself more often. But I have a very silly side and a very weird side to me. And like, even though I am, again, introverted, I do have like this very loud side of me. There's a duality, and I never let that other side of me really be seen in the public eye. And it's kind of the way I do on my YouTube channel, even though I do try to have some like funny videos or do little things, and maybe in lives or different things like that. But it was something that I felt like if I was really myself, I would be so critically judged for it. And so it kind of held me back from doing things. And I just think about who I am now, and even though I've been through a lot of shit, just like I feel like everybody has, and I've had a lot of hardships, but I've also had a lot of really good things. I got over my fear of public speaking, even though it's not something that's still like a natural thing for me. And I also just, when I went into college, I actually made so many friends and so many connections, and I was so involved, and I really transformed myself to be a very different person. And I wouldn't be able to do videos like I am today. And again, I'm trying to get back into it, but if it wasn't for that transformation, and it wasn't for the experiences that I experienced. And when you're feeling down, and everybody has their own story, but when you're feeling down, like, think about who you were 10 years ago. And maybe for some people it hasn't changed that much, but if you're like me and you have changed significantly, think about, even if you haven't, but think about how much you could change in the next 10 years. I think about the idea, even apart from like me changing in my own regards, just the idea of where I'll be in 10 years if I am still alive, which let's hope that everyone is still alive in 10 years. But I will probably be like at least hopefully married with children, and that alone, just those two alone are going to significantly change my life, because I probably will be living in a different city, different state, having a completely different lifestyle than I am right now, because just from having children and being married. That is exciting in itself, and it's very easy to be like, well, I'm not where I want to be, and that's not really, even though those are things that I've always wanted, and I always thought that I would be married young, like 18, 20, I'm glad that that did not happen. But at the same time, it's so easy to compare yourself and so easy to think, oh shit, like I'm not where I want to be. But if you think in 10-year increments, you're gonna be like, if you do something, especially if you consistently try to change your life for the better, you are intentional in your thought and you really try to visualize who you want to be in the future, you are going to change your life. It's not a concept of, well, maybe you will, and maybe it's not going to be exactly what you envisioned, but chances are it's going to be better than what you envisioned and more. Because oftentimes, even the most prophetic people, they're still not able to completely envision every single thing that will happen to them in their life. And it's just because there's so many possibilities, there's so many things that can happen. You don't know who you're going to meet tomorrow. You don't know what's going to happen to you tomorrow. You can plan your life as much as you can, and I do think that there is a lot of power in being disciplined and planning out those things. But even at that, you can be the most regulated person, but still there's going to be things that you never dreamed could even be possible for you. Just looking at social media in general, 10 years ago, I don't think anybody envisioned that we would have the kind of outlets that we have today. And even though we had Facebook and different things like that, it wasn't the same. It's just going to be like the same in 10 years. There's so many things that are going to change outside of your control. So what you can control is your mindset and really sticking to who you want to be, and not gearing that around what others want you to be. You need to do what you want to do, and by doing that you will transform your life. So again, this was just, I had an idea, but I didn't plan this video. I think it might be apparent. There's no cuts, no editing, and I just hope that this touched at least somebody out there. And I want to do more videos like this because again, it's therapeutic for myself, but it's also like, I hope it's helpful for some other people, or at least whatever. So if you like this video, please like it, and if you want to see more videos like this, please subscribe, and I hope you have a great day. Bye.